everyone, welcome back to Enchanting Folktales channel. Today, I have an incredible story to share with you all. It's a tale of adventure, mystery and redemption. It's a story about an island called Tamboko. Many years ago, people told stories about a place called Tamboko. They said it was a very beautiful place with clear water, white sandy beaches and a lot of trees. But some people believed that the island was cursed, and if you went there, you might not come back. For many years, adventurers and treasure hunters have been looking for the lost island because they want to find valuable things and feel the excitement of discovering something that has been lost for a very long time. Unfortunately, no one has ever been able to find it. It wasn't until Timbo stumbled upon a clue that he thought led him to the island that he learned of the lost island existence. Years of studying ancient maps and understanding cryptic texts had convinced him that he had finally cracked the code to this lost island. Timbo set out on a perilous journey across the ocean with a crew of fellow adventurers, braving heavy storms and battling fierce sea monsters. Despite the dangers, they remained resolute in their quest for Tamboko's lost island. Eventually, after weeks at sea, they spotted a faint outline. As they drew closer, they could see that it was indeed an island shrouded in mist and surrounded by a ring of jagged rocks that seemed to defy all attempts at navigation. Undeterred, Timbo and his crew navigated their way through this treacherous water, and as they drew closer to the island, they could feel a sense of foreboding creeping over them. They knew that they were about to face unimaginable danger, but they were determined to press on. As they stepped onto the sandy shore of Tamboko, they were greeted by an eerie silence. The island was deserted, and there was no sign of human habitation. But as they explored deeper into the island, they began to uncover the dark secrets that had kept it hidden from the world for so long. The island was home to a powerful ancient artifact, one that had the power to grant immense wealth and power to whoever possessed it. But the artifact was also cursed, and those who sought it risked being consumed by its dark power. As Timbo and his crew ventured deeper into the island's interior, they realized they were not alone. Dark forces were at work, and they would stop at nothing to claim the artifact for themselves. But Timbo and his crew were not willing to give up without a fight. Armed with their wits and their courage, they battled against the forces of darkness, determined to claim the artifact and uncover the truth about the lost island of Tamboko. As Timbo and his team traveled farther into the island's core, they came across a number of challenges that put their fortitude, ability, and strength to the test. In addition to navigating difficult rivers and impenetrable forests, they had to avoid the terrible traps that the island's guardians had set for them. Yet, Timbo and his team persisted despite their difficulties. They were determined to learn the secret of this long-lost island of Tamboko, since they had already traveled too far to turn back at this point. They sensed an unsettling aura surrounding the artifact as they got closer to where it was. The air became oppressively tensed with a gloomy presence as the sky got dark. As Timbo's team started to feel nervous, he remained focused on the work at hand. Suddenly, a band of shadowy figures appeared out of nowhere, blocking their paths. They were heavily armed and appeared to be guarding the artifact with their lives. Timbo crew prepared to fight, but Timbo himself stepped forward, trying to reason with the shadowy figures. As Timbo stood on the island, a group of men emerged from the shadows. They spoke to him in a language he could understand and explained that they were descendants of the original inhabitants of the island. They had been guarding the artifact for centuries and warned Timbo of the dangers of possessing this artifact. Timbo was amazed by the unique clothing, intricate tattoos, and piercing eyes of the islanders. He had always been fascinated by the history and culture of the island, and to be among them was a dream come true. But as they spoke, he began to realize that there was a dark side to the story. The descendants told Timbo that the artifact was not just a source of power and wealth, but also a force of darkness. Many who had tried to claim it in the past had met with terrible fates. They urged Timbo to abandon his quest and leave the island before it was too late. They explained that the artifact was not just a source of power and wealth, but a darkness that consumes anyone who tried to come in contact with it. Yet, Timbo was too stubborn to listen. He said he would not leave this island until he got it. However, despite the warnings, he was determined to possess this artifact. He was convinced that he could handle whatever dangers laid ahead, and he was determined to claim this artifact at any cost. The descendants then guided Timbo's father into the island in search of this item with troubled hearts. They passed through a number of traps and barriers that they had seen along the paths and found ways to keep off some of the traps. Yet Timbo was unmoved and continued on. They eventually made their way to the center of the island where the artifact was kept secret. Even though it was a modest object looking very ordinary, as Timbo grew closer to this artifact, he could feel its strength even before he touched it. He experienced an energy rush as he extended his hands to take the object. At that point, Timbo realized his error. From the next few days, Timbo remained on the island. He was lost in a phase of confusion and fear. The artifact had consumed him, just as the descendant had warned him. He was trapped, unable to leave the island or shake off the darkness that had overtaken him. His crew members saw this and fled for their life, except for Ira, one of the female crew. As Timbo sat alone, feeling defeated and lost, he suddenly heard a rustling in the nearby bush. He thought, who could this be? All my crew members had left me and fled away. So he jumped to his feet, afraid yet ready to defend himself. But then he heard a familiar voice calling his name. Timbo! Timbo! It's me, Ira! Don't be afraid, I am here to help you. Timbo recognized Ira's voice immediately. She had been one of his team members, but he had betrayed her. She just stayed behind among the crew members. But instead of running like others, she felt she could stay to save him. Timbo assumed she had fled the island with the others, but it seemed that she had stayed behind to try to help him. He was glad when he saw Ira. Ira emerged from the bushes, looking tired and disheveled but determined. I know you have made a terrible mistake, Timbo, she said. But we can still make things right. We can try to find a way to break this curse of the artifact. Or at least make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands again. Timbo felt a glimmer of hope with Ira's words. He had been so consumed with his own guilt and despair that he hadn't even considered the possibility of redemption. But how? He asked. What can we do? Ira explained that she had spent the past few days searching for how to resolve the curse that had befell him. And she discovered that it was not actually a curse, but it was imbued with a powerful magic that could be harnessed for either good or evil. She went on to explain that this artifact was like a double-edged knife, which could be used for preparing food or could be used for destruction, depending on the content of your heart's desires. She explained that Timbo's intention towards the magical artifact were not pure, which was why he was possessed by a dark force. She believed that if they could find a way to control the magic, they could use it to help others and make amends for their past mistake. Timbo listened to Ira's plan, feeling a sense of renewed hope. Together, they began to explore the island, searching for clues and experimenting with the artifact's power. They worked tirelessly day and night, and gradually they began to make little progress day by day. Eventually, they met an old wizard who told them that the only cure for Timbo was to serve the island with love in his heart, and whatever had possessed him would gradually leave him. However, the only condition was that he could never set foot on any other land again. Years passed, and Timbo and Ira grew old on this island, making it their home. They were happy knowing that they had found a way to use the artifact's power for good. They had redeemed themselves, and they had found a sense of peace that they had never known before. And so, when their time finally came to an end, they passed on the artifact to the next generation with the hope that they would continue to use its power for good, and they would never make the same mistake that Timbo had made a long time ago. Timbo learned an important lesson from his experience on this island. He realized one should never take what does not belong to him and should work hard for their own wealth or be content with what they already have. He also learned the importance of respecting the customs and traditions of other cultures. After this lesson, Timbo never did what he did again. He lived a life of love and service to others. Did you learn any lesson from this story? If you did, let us know in the comment section. Thank you for watching and listening. Our channel is now monetized. Please, to support us, watch the ads on our channel. Thank you very much. Also remember to like, share and subscribe, as this will help our channel grow and this will encourage us to create more stories. Thank you. See you in the next story. Bye.